Good morning, America. For our viewers in the West, a government shutdown, breaking news at Oktoberfest, and the biggest winner in Wheel of Fortune history overnight. Breaking overnight, the federal government shutting down, both parties failing to reach a last-minute deal, blaming each other, while President Trump tries to ramp up pressure, threatening mass layoffs and cuts to programs, as millions of workers prepare to go without pay. What the shutdown means for American families. House Speaker Johnson and Minority Leader Jeffries join us live on the State of Play.
Dramatic shift at the Pentagon.
I told Pete we should use some of these dangerous cities as training grounds for our military.
What President Trump said about using American cities as training grounds for the U.S. military. As Secretary Hegseth laid out new policies, rules of engagement, and standards to the nation's most senior officers.
If that means no women qualify for some combat jobs, so be it.
The reaction on Capitol Hill this morning, including a combat veteran and senator.
Homes collapsing along North Carolina's Outer Banks as two hurricanes churn in the Atlantic. Ginger is tracking them.
Breaking news. A deadly explosion near the famous Oktoberfest fairgrounds, plus the bomb threat at the event millions flock to every year.
Breaking overnight. Hundreds of aftershocks, hospitals overwhelmed after a powerful deadly earthquake strikes the Philippines.
Desperate race against time to save nearly 100 students. Trapped after their century-old school collapsed. Teens buried in the rubble of the building for 2 days.
Arrest warrant issued for the Fast and Furious star and award-winning singer Tyrese Gibson. What he's saying this morning.
Not holding back.
We have the best players in the world. We have the best fans in the world. But right now, we have the worst leadership in the world.
WNBA star Nafisa Collier blasting the league's commissioner. Other top players weighing in, including four-time MVP A'ja Wilson overnight, after leading the Las Vegas Aces to the finals with an OT thrilling win over the Fever.
He's good!
Plus,
what in the earth, wind, and fire is going on here?
Abbott Elementary is back, and Sheryl Lee Ralph is here live in The Shining Star on Wheel of Fortune. The biggest winner in the show's history joins us live first on GMA.
Christina, you're going to miss what work. You just won $1 million.
Live from ABC News headquarters in New York City, it's Wednesday. Good morning, America.
There is one happy American right there.
It was the first for Ryan as well.
Yeah, that was really something. Good morning, America. Hope you're doing well this morning.
It is the first day of Breast Cancer Awareness Month, and we're going to talk to Dr. Alpa Patel of the American Cancer Society about the life-saving advances and the fight ahead.
And we're looking forward to that, but we're going to begin with the breaking news overnight. The government shutting down. Lawmakers missing a midnight deadline as federal workers prepare for furloughs. And President Trump threatened to use the shutdown to make major cuts to federal programs. Senior political correspondent Rachel Scott is on Capitol Hill for us with more. Good morning, Rachel.
Hey, Michael, good morning to you. There was no breakthrough in negotiations, no last-minute deal. The government has officially shut down, and this morning both sides are only digging in. This morning, the government shutting down for the first time in nearly 7 years after lawmakers from both parties failed to reach a deal.
Republicans once again rejected Democrats' proposals to avoid a shutdown.
The Democrat caucus here in town, in the Senate, has chosen to shut down the government.
Overnight, senators blocking dueling proposals. Democrats overwhelmingly rejecting a GOP bill to keep the government funded.
The bill upon reconsideration is not passed.
And Republicans blocking a Democratic bill to reverse Medicaid cuts and extend Obamacare subsidies to keep health care costs from rising for millions.
How long would you be willing to let a shutdown go on until your demands are met? As long as it takes?
We need to save health care. It's so basic and existential for a lot of American families.
With lawmakers deadlocked, the president turning to mocking Democratic leaders, posting another AI-generated video on social media, showing Democratic leader Hakeem Jeffries wearing a sombrero and a fake mustache.
We need from the President of the United States an individual who actually is focused on doing his job, as opposed to engaging in racist or bigoted stereotypes.
The president trying to ramp up the pressure, threatening mass layoffs and cuts to programs.
We can do things during the shutdown that are irreversible, that are bad for them and irreversible by them, like cutting vast numbers of people out, cutting things that they like, cutting programs that they like.
Even floating the idea of cutting benefits without saying which ones.
We can do things medically and other ways, including benefits.
Already, as many as 4 million federal workers are preparing to go without pay, with furloughs hitting the majority of agencies. The Department of Labor seeing 76% of its workforce temporarily reduced. At Health and Human Services, 41% of employees will be furloughed, including 64% of workers at the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention. Members of the military also hit hard, many forced to work without a paycheck. Jamie Billard, whose husband is in the Coast Guard, preparing to tell their kids they'll have to scale back on dinners out and picture day at school.
What do we set as a priority? Your dad's not getting paid right now. That's our sole source of income. You know, I said no because there's bigger things happening here.
And in Fort Worth, Johnny Jones, a TSA officer, and an AFGE union official worried about how he'll make ends meet.
Child care does not take IOUs. Gasoline does not take IOUs. Your house payments do not take IOUs. And sometimes it becomes very difficult to maintain focus on the mission whenever you're trying to figure out how you're going to get to and from work.
Democrats say those threats from the president for mass layoffs are an act of intimidation, showing no signs of backing off their demands.
The president is now threatening these irreversible cuts to the workforce, to programs. Is that a risk that Democrats are willing to take?
It will fall on him, as I said. He's the one doing the firings, not Democrats.
So 2 Democratic senators and 1 independent broke ranks to support the GOP proposal to keep the government funded. Senate Republicans say they plan to bring that bill back to the floor today, but Democrats say they are holding firm. So the big question now, how do lawmakers get out of this shutdown? Exactly who caves? And just how long will it last? Robin, the last one was 35 days.
Those are all big questions that you just asked there, Rachel. Thank you so much for your reporting. Elizabeth Schulze joins us now with what the shutdown means for families. Good morning, Elizabeth.
Hey, good morning, Robin. And this government shutdown injects uncertainty into the household finances of many families and into the broader American economy. So starting today, the Congressional Budget Office says we could see 750,000 federal employees furloughed. That means they are placed on leave without pay. They only get paid retroactively once this shutdown ends. Tens of thousands more federal workers who are deemed essential will be forced to keep working without pay. So think TSA agents, air traffic control workers, Border Patrol agents, plus some 2 million U.S. troops. Now, members of the military typically get paid on the 1st and 15th days of the month. So checks today have already been sent. Now they're at risk of missing that payday in 2 weeks. And of course, keep in mind, members of Congress do still get their paychecks during this time. A couple of other looming impacts here. National parks are open for now, but could face staff shortages. The Smithsonian will be open until at least October 6th. And in 1 week, that critical WIC program, which gives nutrition assistance to 7 million low-income women and their children, is set to run out of funding. There are some key government functions that are not at risk here. Social Security payments should stay intact. Student loans will still go out. The U.S. Postal Service will stay still up and running. The bottom line, the longer this lasts, the bigger the impact on the economy. That 2018 shutdown under President Trump, it went on for 35 days. It carried a price tag of $11 billion, Robin.
Very big price tag there. All right, Elizabeth, thank you. We're going to speak with 2 of the major players in the shutdown, House Speaker Mike Johnson and House Minority Leader Hakeem Jeffries. They're going to both join us in our next hour, George.
Thank you, Rob. We're going to the Pentagon now, where President Trump and Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth delivered highly partisan speeches to an extraordinary gathering of America's top generals. The president vowed to fight what he called the enemy within by using American cities as training grounds for the military, and Hegseth decried what he called a woke culture in the military. Chief Global Affairs anchor Martha Raddatz is in Washington with the story. Good morning, Martha.
Good morning, George. These were speeches that alarmed, jarred many military leaders in and out of the room, especially the words from President Trump that these war fighters should do training when sent to American cities.
This morning, new reaction to President Trump's extraordinary comments before the nation's most senior military officials. The president telling them the military should train in American cities.
I told Pete we should use some of these dangerous cities as training grounds for our military.
The president's comments sure to face legal challenges, coming at an unprecedented gathering of American military leaders from around the world. summoned by Secretary Pete Hegseth, a former infantry officer and Fox Weekend News host who made clear things would dramatically change under his leadership.
No more identity months, DEI offices, dudes in dresses. No more climate change worship. No more division, distraction, or gender delusions. No more debris. As I've said before, and will say again, we are done with that.
Hegseth warning the group, some of the most experienced warfighters in a generation, who sat expressionless as Hegseth hammered home his points.
If the words I'm speaking today are making your heart sink, then you should do the honorable thing and resign.
The secretary laid out new policy standards and fitness standards.
It's tiring to look out at combat formations, or really any formation, and see fat troops. Likewise, it's completely unacceptable to see fat generals and admirals in the halls of the Pentagon and leading commands around the country and the world.
And for ground combat roles, which women have been performing for more than a decade, the high male standard will now be the norm.
If that means no women qualify for some combat jobs, so be it. That is not the intent, but it could be the result.
Hegseth defending the firing of more than a dozen senior officers, including the chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff, C.Q. Brown, a fighter pilot and the second black man to serve in the role. And he also fired the first woman to serve as the head of the Navy, Lisa Franchetti, who spent half of her 40-year career at sea commanding a destroyer and 2 carrier strike groups. And Hegseth said the current rules of engagement meant to protect civilians and non-combatants are too politically correct. The speech sparking outrage among Democrats on Capitol Hill. Combat veteran Senator Tammy Duckworth in a post on X saying, if this deeply degrading, wasteful, and dangerous stunt proved anything, it's that the best Hegseth can do to strengthen our military is resign in disgrace immediately. Former Ambassador Doug Lute, a retired U.S. Army Lieutenant General, also reacting to the speech.
The senior leaders participating today in the audience are leaders with 25 to 35 years of experience. They know well the value of personal fitness, individual discipline, small unit discipline, and so forth. They've got that. This is not something that they needed to come to Washington to be lectured about. Our senior-most military leaders received a clear message, which is my way or the highway.
The cost of bringing all these generals to Quantico from around the world was also staggering, estimated to be in the millions. As for more reaction from the military, I was told that some are now trying to figure out where their red lines will be, given the encouragement to resign if they disagree. Others called it insulting and terrifying. Guys?
Yeah, it was very performative. Thank you so much for that, Martha. And we're going to turn now to breaking news, the deadly explosion and a bomb threat near the famous Oktoberfest fairgrounds, an event millions flock to every year, and our Lama Hassan is tracking the latest for us. Good morning, Lama.
Yeah, good morning to you, Michael. This is developing this morning, but here is what we know so far. A bomb threat has triggered a massive security response in the city of Munich, and as a result, German authorities say Oktoberfest will now be closed until at least this evening. There is also a large emergency operation underway right now in northern Munich after an explosion at a house. One person has been found dead. Police finding other explosive devices in the home. Special forces have also been called in to defuse them. It is being treated as a domestic dispute, but authorities believe that these two incidents may be connected. And as you know, Oktoberfest is the world's most famous and biggest beer festival, already attracting more than 3.5 million visitors. Police are not taking any chances. George?
They can't. Okay, Lama, thanks. We're going to also breaking overnight. Hospitals overwhelmed after a powerful earthquake in the Philippines. Foreign correspondent Britt Clinton has the latest on that. Good morning, Britt.
Good morning, George. Yeah, that strong quake killing at least 69 people, but that death toll, it is expected to climb. You can see in this video how shocked contestants at a beauty pageant scramble off stage as the room starts to shake violently. The earthquake in central Philippines also crushing houses, collapsing churches, causing fires and power outages. Hospitals there, as you say, are overwhelmed now, with emergency teams using heavy machinery and sniffer dogs to find people trapped under the debris. But those those rescue efforts made more complicated now by hundreds of aftershocks. And this quake, it comes just a week after the Philippines was hit by back-to-back intense typhoons. Robin?
Quite frightening there. Britt, thank you. We're going to turn now to the common cold at their highest level in 3 years. Rhiannon Alley is here with that for us. Good morning.
We all know how germy kids can be, right? Good morning, guys. And it is that time of year when cold activity usually peaks because it's just weeks after the kids headed back to school. But this year, those numbers are even higher. The CDC reports nearly a third of tests are coming back positive for rhinovirus, which is the most frequent cause of the common cold, and enterovirus, which is another type of respiratory infection. That is the highest it's been since September of 2022. Now, the good news is we are likely at the peak, but as cold numbers decrease, guess what? Flu season will start ramping up. Yeah, unlike the flu, there are no vaccines for the common cold. There are some ways, though, that you can reduce your risk of catching it. They include practicing good hygiene, like hand washing, covering your mouth when you cough or sneeze, open windows for cleaner air, and also stay at home if you can from work or school, which I think most adults would agree is a lot easier said than done. Sorry I have a cold, those are always fine.
Always good. Prove it. Yeah, that's always the next thing. All right, thank you so much. You know, October baseball is here, and so is our sports guy, Sam Champion. He's ready to bring up the wild card action. What you got, Sam? Good morning.
You know, we have props on the sports desk just for a little bit later. Here we go. All right, let's start with the fact that the MLB viewership is significantly up. Broadcast viewership is up 9%. We are watching it. The LA Dodgers with an easy win over the Cincinnati Reds, 10-5, thanks in part to 2 home runs each from Shohei Ohtani and Teoscar Hernandez. Now, Tarik Skubal pitched a massive 14-strikeout opener for the Tigers, who took Game 1 over the Cleveland Guardians, and the San Diego Padres were no match for the Chicago Cubs. But the rivalry between the Yankees and the Red Sox, situation incoming, has everybody talking. Boston taking Game 1 3-1, but Boston fans are hoping to make a trip to the Bronx. Listen to this, to see the series. They say they're being blocked from purchasing tickets online. The Yankees say they started doing this, back in 2018, in order to give their home fans a chance to buy postseason tickets. Now, this does not mean if you're a Red Sox fan, you can't go into Yankee Stadium. Of course you can. But here's how it sets up. You have to go to a third-party reselling site to buy your tickets, and of course, tickets on those sites are often more expensive. Guys, there's a curveball for fans here.
Oh, we got it. Curveball. We got it. Yes.
I just had to pause, Robin. So they're not the only team that does this. During the past few years, NBA postseason, the Detroit Pistons restricted ticket sales based on location during the showdown with the New York Knicks. So a lot of teams are saying we want our home fans there. People have to work harder to buy tickets. Did I mention I have props?
Yeah. I mentioned you said sports desk. When did this turn into a sports desk? Well done,
You
Sam.
got the right last name, though. Champion.
Yeah.
See, there's something there.
Love it, Sam. There's always something there with you.
thank
We got you. Coming up, why there's a warrant out for the arrest of popular singer and actor Tyrese Gibson.
Also had the latest on the WNBA. Yes, the finals are set, Las Vegas versus Phoenix, but one of the W's top players, Nafisa Collier, blasting the league commissioner. We're going to show you what she said and how other top players are weighing in.
And the biggest winner in Wheel of Fortune history is here live.
You guys stay right there. We will be right back.
Back here on GMA, Olympic gymnast Jordan Childs going for the gold on TikTok night on Dancing with the Stars. We'll have the big moments from the ballroom and hear from the couple going home after what some felt was a surprising elimination. Coming up in the next hour.
First new at 7:30. Overseas, a race against time to save nearly 100 students trapped after their century-old school collapsed in Indonesia. More than 300 rescue workers are on the scene. Some of the teens have been trapped for 2 days. Authorities say the top floor came crashing down. The school had been undergoing an unauthorized expansion. At least 3 people have been confirmed dead, 100 others injured. Those numbers are expected to rise. Also, New York judge denied Sean Diddy Combs' bid to have his conviction overturned. The judge says the government proved his case, quote, many times over. Combs is now set to be sentenced on Friday. Prosecutors asking for 11 years in prison, while the defense wants a sentence equal to about time served.
And more than 300,000 child car seats are being recalled because of a possible choking hazard. The National Highway Traffic Safety Administration said the headrest, foam on even flows Revolve 360 Slim and Gold Revolve 360 Slim is not properly secured. And we have a winner. Chunk
Yes.
was crowned the winner of Fat Bear Week after finishing runner-up for the past 2 years. Put on some weight in the off-season to get up to snuff. He did it with a broken jaw.
Yeah, and that
also
scar,
that scar you love. The scar, I think, put him over the top.
It did.
I know you were rooting for him, Robin.
Congrats.
And we're going to switch gears now and go to an arrest warrant issued for the Fast and Furious actor Tyrese Gibson after a disturbing incident involving his dogs in his upscale Atlanta neighborhood. Senior national correspondent Steve Osensami is in Atlanta at the police precinct for us this morning. Good morning, Steve.
Just to give you a sense of the neighborhood, Michael, this is one of the most expensive and prestigious zip codes in Georgia. The governor's mansion is nearby. These are large, massive homes with no sidewalks or street parking, and that's on purpose. So then to have dogs escape your home continually and then kill another dog is not something neighbors here want to accept.
Baby, promise me you'll stay, baby.
He's an award-winning R&B singer and best known in Hollywood for his Fast and Furious movies. And this morning, police in Georgia have issued a warrant for his arrest over his large dogs at his Atlanta mansion, who are now accused of killing another dog in his wealthy neighborhood 2 weeks ago.
If anybody shows up, I want you to bite their ankles off.
Police say they asked him to surrender his dogs, and he said no, leading them to search the home for the dogs while he was away. And when they didn't find them, they issued an arrest warrant for the singer and actor, accusing him of animal cruelty.
They have been loose in our neighborhood for 6, 7, 8 months now. They've been off the leash at least 30 times.
Police say the neighbors have complained that his dogs were often running loose, and on September 18th, they were seen on a neighbor's security camera, accused of killing Harrison Parker's much smaller 5-year-old dog.
The pack of those 4 dogs were there minutes before I found Henry's body. And there was absolutely no cars, no humans, just the dogs. He died alone in the darkness at night, and I wasn't there. Henry was a little King Charles Cavalier Spaniel. I'd raised him from a little puppy, from just a few weeks old. And, he never left my side. I really hope that justice is fully served.
Gibson was out of the country that night, and in a statement says to the family, "Please know that my heart is broken for you. I'm praying for your healing and for your beloved pet who never deserved this." His lawyer tells us that Gibson accepts full responsibility and made the incredibly difficult decision to rehome his 2 adult dogs and their 3 puppies in safe and loving homes.
The question now is, when will Tyrese Gibson come in and handle this arrest warrant? And is rehoming the dogs, as he has said he has done, going to be enough for authorities? Or do they still want possession of these dogs? And if they get possession, are these dogs in any risk of being put down? In a video he posted to social media, he suggested that he is in Los Angeles and is cooperating with authorities. Guys.
A lot of open questions there. Okay, Steve, thanks very much.
Now with the WNBA, the finals are set after Las Vegas beat Indiana in an overtime thriller last night. They'll now face Phoenix for the title. But before that decisive game, one of the league's stars, Nafisha Collier, blasting the league's commissioner. Will Reeve has that story, and Will, other top players weighing in, and officiating is at the center of all
Yeah,
this.
Robin, good morning to everybody. This has been an ongoing issue and a source of major frustration for players and coaches. And yesterday, injured star Nafisha Collier sat down in front of a podium and excoriated the WNBA commissioner and brought alleged receipts.
And that will do it. The Las Vegas Aces have survived the fever. This morning, the Las Vegas Aces heading to the WNBA Finals, beating the Indiana Fever in overtime. But earlier in the day, one of the league's best players speaking out forcefully on league accountability.
We have the best players in the world. We have the best fans in the world. But right now, we have the worst leadership in the world.
The Minnesota Lynx's Nafisha Collier, whose season ended with an ankle injury after this controversial no call against the Phoenix Mercury in the semifinals, came out firing about the commissioner of the WNBA, Kathy Engelbert, and the way she's handled complaints about officials this season.
I sat across from Kathy and asked how she planned to address the officiating issues in our league. Her response was, well, only the losers complain about the refs. I also asked how she planned to fix the fact that players like Caitlin, Angel, and Paige, who are clearly driving massive revenue for the league, are making so little for their first 4 years. Her response was, Caitlin should be grateful she makes $16 million off the court, because without the platform that the WNBA gives her, she wouldn't make anything. And in that same conversation, she told me players should be on their knees thanking their lucky stars for the media rights deal that I got them. The league believes it succeeds despite its players, not because of them.
The commissioner responding in a statement, writing, quote, "I am disheartened by how Nafisa characterized our conversations and league leadership, but even when our perspectives differ, my commitment to the players and to this work will not waver." Overnight, four-time MVP Asia Wilson taking direct aim at the commissioner after her team's win.
I had an opportunity to listen to Fee, and I just want to say I was honestly disgusted by the comments that Kathy made. But at the same time, I'm very appreciative that we have people like Fee in our committee of our Players Association representing us, because that's where we're going to have to continue to make the push to stand on what we believe in.
Sheryl Lee and the rest of her staff streaking onto the floor.
The Lynx' head coach, Sheryl Lee, was fined a record $15,000. That's 6 times the amount of the next highest fine. She was also suspended for her team's final playoff game following her comments about the refs shortly after Collier's injury.
And Sheryl Lee has been ejected from the game.
For the leadership to deem those 3 people semifinals playoff worthy is malpractice.
And the head coaches of the Fever and the Aces were also fined $1,000 each after they voiced agreement with Reeve about the officiating situation across the league.
I'm sure that they will find me. I mean, it seems like anything with free speech is fined now.
So the WNBA Finals begin on Friday, but for now, everyone will be focused on Collier's words and what comes next here.
I know that last little comment, too. Yeah. She is a very smart woman. She is very forthright in having her receipts, as she did, and the other players and coaches falling in line and saying thank you. It took a lot for her to make that kind of statement as she did, and she's backing up, and hopefully something now will come of it.
Yes,
we'll have to see what that is. Oh, we're having a good time. We're back now with a buzz over Wheel of Fortune last night, handing out the most cash and prizes in show history. The big winner is standing by. Woo-hoo! We're going to talk to her live in a moment, but first on GMA, the big moment.
M C F
And the vowel?
A.
Okay, Vanna, what can you show us? Very quiet in the audience. Living things, that is the category. You'll have 10 seconds to try and solve it. Christina's staring at me. Good luck.
Pack of coyotes.
Christina, they're going to miss you at work. You just won $1 million.
And Christina's here live with us right now in the studio. We did not see it. We were watching right now. We're like, a pack of coyotes. So what's she gonna do with all that moolah?
Oh my gosh. The first thing that I am spending that on is getting rid of all of my student loans. That is #1 priority. It's something that, you know, the last 15 years I've been out of college, I've just been like, how am I ever going to pay this off? And now it is just going to be such a relief. And then hopefully invest in a home in the next couple of years.
Right. Definitely a life-changing amount of money that you won. Congratulations to you. And in the moment that you won, Ryan got teary-eyed. You went in to hug Vanna. Like, what was it like to realize you just won $1 million?
I mean, I was just in such complete shock. As soon as the puzzle letters came up, I was like, I know this. It just clicked. As soon as that C came up in the puzzle, I was like, pack of coyotes. I looked at Ryan before the timer started, and he was like, you're looking at me. You know what this is. And as soon as the clock started, I just said it, and for a second, I forgot about the $1 million wedge, and then he opened it, and I was like, oh my goodness.
Exactly.
This is real.
Ryan also joked that you were going to give 2 weeks notice to your job.
He did.
And?
I have not given my 2 weeks notice. It was a running joke the whole trip. My boss, who is also one of my good friends, she's actually from LA originally.
Is she
came with me. Yeah, Jen. Yeah, so she came with me and we joked. We were like, well, if you win the $1 million, I might be going home by myself in the office, might have to fill your spot. So that was just a running joke, never thinking it would ever happen. Right. But yeah, I'm going to be staying at work.
Jen, I'll bet you're happy about that.
I sure am. She's great. I'm happy to be cheering her on all the way through.
Oh, that's very
I asked you if there was a place on the wheel, a special place to grab. You said no, there really wasn't. But look, fans know the show is pre-taped. Mm-hmm. You had to keep this for what? You told us how many months?
4 months.
Wow.
4 months of keeping this a secret.
Did you tell anyone?
No. Jen luckily was with me, so whenever we were at work and we were just like, give each other a little side eye.
Is there a place on the wheel that's better to spin?
No. I mean, honestly, the biggest thing for me was I did land on that $1 million wedge my first spin of the entire game. So once that happened, I knew the likelihood of hitting a bankrupt in the rest of the game was pretty high. Mm-hmm. So I just tried to spin the least amount as possible.
Smart. So we're so happy for you. Congratulations.
I'm
glad you can share it with the world.
Yes, finally.
Yes.
Yeah. Cool boss you got over there.
I do.
Well.
I know.
If you miss Christina's big win, you can stream it on Hulu all week long. You don't want to miss it. And Wheel of Fortune, of course, airs weeknights. You check your local listings. We will be right back. Thank you.
Good morning, America. It's 8 a.m. Breaking overnight. The federal government is shut down. Both parties failed to reach a last-minute deal, blaming each other. While President Trump tries to ramp up pressure, threatening mass layoffs and cuts to programs, as millions of workers prepare to go without pay. What the shutdown means for American families, Republican Speaker Johnson and Democratic Leader Jeffries join us live on The State of Play.
40 years of pink. We're marking 40 years of Breast Cancer Awareness Month. This morning, the latest in the fight, from research to diagnosis to treatment, and the hope for the future.
And class is in session.
Welcome back.
You got me so excited.
Abbott Elementary is back for a brand new season, and Sheryl Lee Ralph is here live, and she's saying,
Good morning, America.
Live from ABC News headquarters in New York City, it's Wednesday. Good morning, America.
It is Wednesday, and it's always a treat when Sheryl Lee Ralph is here.
That is the truth. And speaking of treat, Sam, he's with Paul Hollywood.
You just said it, Michael. So Paul Hollywood is here. We're going to talk about, it's more than a baking show, really. We're going to talk about it this morning. But we know that you love donuts. So there's this place called Peter Pan Donuts in Brooklyn. Does that look like a donut that would pass muster?
Absolutely.
All right.
I've got to try one.
All right, what do you want to go in there? All right,
yes.
So we're going to talk about this baking show that is the hit all over the globe when we come back, guys.
Thank you, Sam.
How do we do?
First look at the top stories breaking today. We start with the government shutdown. Each party blocking the other's stopgap bills to keep funding the federal government before last night's midnight deadline. We're going to hear from the House Minority Leader, Hakeem Jeffries, in a moment. First, we're joined by the Speaker of the House, Mike Johnson. Mr. Speaker, thank you for joining us this morning. The Democratic proposal is designed to prevent millions of Americans from losing their health insurance, losing Medicaid coverage, or paying higher health care premiums. Why are you against that?
That's an absurd statement, what you said there. Let's be clear about what happened last night, George. No, George, let me tell you what happened last night. Everybody can go and review the facts for themselves. 44 Senate Democrats voted to reject a clean, nonpartisan continuing funding resolution to keep the United States government open. The Democrats said instead that they wanted to give health care to illegal aliens instead of keeping critical services provided for the American citizens. That's what happened, plain and simple. Every Democrat in the House, except one, voted against the clean continuing resolution. It was nonpartisan in nature. There are no policy riders on it that Republicans favored. It's exactly what Chuck Schumer and other Democrats voted for in March. but they've changed their tune. They changed their tune because Chuck Schumer is having political problems right now. That's just a simple fact, and everybody knows that he's trying to outrun the far left portion of his base, so he's decided to inflict pain on the American people. That's the reality of what we're facing.
Here are the facts. The proposal does not provide health care for illegal immigrants. Illegal immigrants cannot buy health care under the Affordable Care Act. They cannot receive health care subsidies.
No.
Illegal immigrants are ineligible for Medicare, Medicaid, and the Children's Health Program. The Democratic bill does not make them eligible.
It does, actually, because what it does is it unwinds the changes that Republicans put into the big, beautiful bill, the big signature legislation that we passed and signed into law on July 4th. That has been very successful in shoring up Medicaid for the people who are actually eligible to receive it. What we did in the bill, and the CBO just verified this 3 weeks ago, the Congressional Budget Office, the nonpartisan arbiters of everything up here, they said that those provisions have helped to reduce premiums. Why? Because we got ineligible recipients off of Medicaid, illegal aliens, and able-bodied young men who are riding the wagon who are not eligible to be there. Medicaid is intended for specific populations of U.S. citizens. That is young, pregnant women who are down on their luck, the disabled and the elderly. Those resources are being drained from those folks, and so we fixed that. We reduced fraud, waste, and abuse in the program. Chuck Schumer's counterproposal on the CR would reverse that. That is a simple fact.
The CBO did not say that about illegal immigrants. You've made your point right there. Let me ask you about President Trump. He had another deep fake video overnight. How does that help the cause of getting a deal and opening the government?
Look, the president uses social media for humor. He makes jokes. He does lots of things. What the president did in showing leadership, though, 2 days ago, was he brought in Chuck Schumer and Hakeem Jeffries to meet with me and Leader Thune in the Senate to try to work this out. He gave them unlimited time they had in the Oval Office, and they would not come to the table to do exactly, George, what they themselves have said repeatedly over and over and over. We have a highlight reel playing on my social media that shows Chuck Schumer in his own words for the last decades saying that a shutdown would be dangerous and disastrous and reckless. And now he is the one leading his party off that cliff. There's one question that Senate Democrats have to ask today. How long are they going to allow Chuck Schumer to do this to them so that he himself can get political cover from the far left corner of his base? He believes he's going to get a challenge for the Senate from AOC. That's what changed his mind. That's what's driving this agenda. And it's harming real American people. You said at the outset how many people will be unpaid. Many people will lose their jobs over this. TSA agents, the troops won't be paid. They have to go to work. They won't be paid because Chuck Schumer wants to play political games with a nonpartisan continuing resolution to keep government operating.
The president also said at the Pentagon yesterday that he wants American cities to be used as training grounds for the American military. Is this the highest and best use of the U.S. military, and is this the right way to train them?
I don't serve in the Pentagon. I run the House of Representatives. And what we need to be talking about today is real harm that the American people are going to feel because of what Chuck Schumer is doing. Let me tell you what's going to be
Well, hold on a second. As Speaker of the House, do you answer the question? As Speaker of the House, do you believe it's appropriate to use American cities as training grounds for the U.S. military, calling those people in the American cities the enemy within? I'm asking you, as Speaker of the House, do you think that's appropriate?
I'm not going to comment on your characterization of what the president said. I didn't get to see that speech because I was a little busy yesterday. Well, you can take his quotes out of context, which you often do, and I don't think that's fair to the president. I'll tell you what he's done, though. He's put National Guard troops here in D.C. and cleaned up the crime problem. People can walk safely to and from work today because the president takes crime seriously. Some of the big mayors in some of these big blue cities are not, and I think that's probably what he was addressing there. But what we need to talk about right now, speaking of troops, is that they won't be paid right now because the Democrats are playing political games. FEMA is not going to be provided. FEMA services will not be provided that the government is now shut down. If you have flood insurance that you need to renew before the hurricanes come on, you can't do that right now. We have critical medical services for veterans and their families. I mean, suicide prevention programs. These are really serious issues that are being caused by the government shutdown. And we need the Democrats to put the politics aside and keep the engines running here. That's critically important for the American people. And it's stunning to me that they're willing to play games like this when they themselves have said, go watch the tape, throughout their entire careers, that this should never be done.
Mr. Speaker, thank you. Nothing I said about the president was out of context. Those were direct quotes from the president. But thank you for your time this morning.
Cherry-picked out of a long speech.
Let's turn now to House Minority Leader Hakeem Jeffries. Mr. Leader, your response, first of all, to what the Speaker said there about the president's comments on the enemy within and using American cities to train the military.
Well, good morning, George. It was a deeply disturbing statement that the president made. We need presidential leadership that brings people together as opposed to tearing us apart. And certainly it's the case that not a single American should ever be viewed as the enemy within or potentially as target practice for the American military, which is why the American people have rejected the deployment and occupation of American cities and towns and counties with American military troops. We have the finest military in the world, and they should be used to keep us safe from external enemies.
You also heard the speaker say that the Democrats want to fund health care for illegal aliens, illegal immigrants, by trying to reverse what was in the president's domestic spending bill earlier this year. Your response?
Donald Trump and Republicans have shut the government down because they don't want to provide health care to working class Americans. Federal law prohibits the use of Medicare, Medicaid, the Children's Health Insurance Program, and the Affordable Care Act to provide health insurance in any way, shape, or form to undocumented immigrants. Period, full stop. That's the law. And Democrats aren't trying to change that. What we are trying to do is negotiate a bipartisan agreement that actually brings the two parties together and funds the government in a way that improves the quality of life of the American people.
It doesn't seem like that's going to happen anytime soon. Are you worried the Democrats are going to get blamed for this shutdown and the unity is going to erode? Already, two Democratic senators and Angus King, the independent senator from Maine who votes with the Democrats, already voted with the GOP once.
Well, Democrats are united in our resolve to make sure that we cancel the cuts, lower the costs, and save health care for the American people. We're in the midst of an incredible crisis, a health care crisis that Republicans have caused. Already this year, the largest cut to Medicaid in American history, triggering the possibility of a $536 billion cut to Medicare as a result of the one big ugly bill that Republicans passed if we don't act by the end of the year. In the next few days, more than 20 million Americans are going to experience notices that will indicate that their premiums and copays and deductibles are about to skyrocket, bankrupting many Americans or preventing them from being able to get access to the health care that they need. And in the midst of all of this, Republicans have effectively canceled medical research, and because of the one big ugly bill, we know hospitals and nursing homes and community-based health centers are closing all across America, including many rural communities that Republicans so often represent all across America, and they could care less at the medical and healthcare crisis that they have caused.
Mr. Leader, thanks for your time this morning. Robin?
Thank you.
All right, George, coming up here on our GMA Morning Menu, we're marking the 40th anniversary of Breast Cancer Awareness Month by looking at the life-saving advances with Dr. Alpa Patel of the American Cancer Society.
Also ahead, the surprise elimination on Dancing with the Stars.
And Sheryl Lee Ralph is going to tell us about the new season of Abbott Elementary. Paul Hollywood has some delicious treats, and Sam's with Tori.
George, Tori's got some deals as well for Breast Cancer Awareness Month. Tori, deals are live right. You've got one right now.
We're starting right now because you guys can treat yourself to delightful pillowcases. So soothing silk like Sam has, satin or cooling. Each option from Night delivers unique beauty-enhancing benefits that you can see and feel, like helping to prevent sleep lines, breakouts, bedhead, all 50% off with options starting right now at $20. Head to gmadeals.com, and coming up, I will have 5 more brands that also support breast cancer research along with exclusive savings.
And it feels good.
Yeah.
We'll be right back.
Beautiful shot of New York right there. And we are back now with our GMA cover story. It is October 1st, the first day of Breast Cancer Awareness Month. And this year, we are celebrating 40 years of pink when the American Cancer Society launched this mission to bring attention to breast cancer.
Hard to believe it has been 40 years of doing this. There has been life-changing and life-saving progress from diagnoses to screening to treatment to access to care. Dr. Alpa Patel of the American Cancer Society is here with the latest in the fight. Good morning to you, Dr. Patel.
Good morning.
Always
Thank you
good
for
to see
having
you.
me.
Thank you for coming in. What are the biggest changes you've seen in outcomes over the last 40 years? Where's the progress now?
There is so much to celebrate around breast cancer and the progress that we've made in the last 40 years. You can sum it up with, I think, one statistic, and that is that we've seen a 42% decrease in the breast cancer death rate over that time, which means more women are surviving than ever before. What's exciting to me, though, is that that progress is not just in one specific area. We know so much more about the risk factors for breast cancer so that we can prevent them better. We know how to get women to get screened, and we're improving the technologies around screening. And we have so much more to offer in terms of treatment, including for metastatic breast cancer.
And we know that young women, particularly women of color, are facing breast cancer diagnosis more often, which is your area of specialty. Why are these disparities happening, and what's being done to close that gap?
This is a really alarming trend, and one that we need to figure out quickly. We're seeing that there is an increase in breast cancer among women, particularly under the age of 50. And we have to understand why that's happening. The most alarming part of these trends are the disparity between black women and white women. So black women are actually less likely to hear the words "you have breast cancer," but more likely to die if diagnosed. And we know that we have to do those things that we already have in place, which is ensure access to high quality screening and access to cutting edge treatments. But we also have a lot that we have left to learn, and that's why I'm so excited that last year we launched a new initiative partnering with 100,000 black women across the country called Voices of Black Women, so that we can understand so much more about why that exists and work towards eliminating it.
I have to understand it, because I'll never forget at the age of 46 being diagnosed with breast cancer and saying, as a black woman, you're less likely to get it, but more likely to die if you get it. And so you hear those words, you're like, what do you possibly do with that? Also, there's been a lot of discussion about the new guidelines when it comes to dense breasts. Just explain a little bit more about what dense breasts are and those new guidelines.
Yeah, so many women, about 40% of us have dense breasts, but so many women don't know what that means. So there's different types of breast tissue and fatty tissue in your breasts. If you have a higher proportion of breast tissue, that's going to make your breast more dense. And that actually shows up, and you can calculate breast density by getting a mammogram. And as of last year, it's now required to be reported in your mammogram report. So please pay attention to that report. Most of us are looking for those words, no evidence of cancer detected, but we don't read the rest. Read the rest, because your density is reported there. And then based on that score, talk to your doctor, because we know that it puts you at higher risk of developing breast cancer, but it also makes it harder to pick up a cancer in the mammogram. So think about trying to spot a polar bear in a blizzard versus on a bright blue sunny day. It's a lot harder to find that. So you may need to get screened using a different technique, or you may need to be screened more frequently. So it's important to have that conversation.
That's a big highlight, I guess, to talk about today. But also, I keep seeing exciting things like vaccines and maybe using AI to maybe find that dense, through that. How does that work?
So we're actually doing some really interesting work ourselves, where we're just imagine taking that facial recognition technology and applying that to deeper learning on a mammogram or on a tumor slide. There's so much exciting work that can happen with AI, and vaccines as well. There's a lot of promising early studies underway. We already know that vaccines are effective in treating other types of cancer. We're seeing them used for bladder cancer, prostate cancer, and melanoma. Wow. So over the next few years, I expect that we'll see a lot more coming out in this space.
Thank you for coming in.
And can we just, because we have both been impacted, our brothers, breast cancer. I know we always talk about women, and they are the vast majority. We are the vast majority that are affected at that, but we should also give a nod to the men.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Men, make sure that you are aware that you too can get breast cancer, and to be aware of those risk factors.
I appreciate that.
Dr. Patel, thank you so much for all your information. Really appreciate you. Thank you. And on Friday, we will have a panel of experts and survivors with more on breast cancer Awareness Month.
Sam, we're in the mood for a little pop news.
Let's do it. I think I've got some fun stuff. Okay. Can I deliver is a whole different question, Robin. We'll see. We'll see. But I think it's interesting. First of all, let's put pop news in your For You page. That's a TikTok thing, by the way. And Dancing with the Stars has taken the For You page to center stage last night with the biggest songs on TikTok. The top of the leaderboard, Olympic gymnast Jordan Childs. No surprise. All right, meanwhile, singer Lauren Harege showcasing her own hit, Fifth Harmony's Work From Home. I love that song. Isn't it good? It's got that happy little thing. But here's a shocking twist. She was sent home. What? Yeah, here's what she said to us.
Working with Brandon has been spectacular. His personality, his energy, the way he teaches, he's just such an incredible partner, and I'm really blessed that I got to do this experience with him. It's a huge growing opportunity for me, and I've had so much fun, honestly. I'm really sad to go.
Yeah, she had a great coach. Brandon's such a great guy.
Right when she got, I watched her last night when she got eliminated. How do you feel immediately after she goes, pissed? I love her honesty.
It's real. It's real. And you know, you're torn. Do I say the nice thing or do I say the real thing, right? She went real. All right, next week is Disney Night. In honor of Disneyland's resort's 70th celebration, Dancing with the Stars airs Tuesdays at 8 p.m. Eastern right here on ABC and Disney Plus, and streaming the next day on Hulu, of course. And now a special shout out to our ABC family, because last night, the Broadcasting and Cable Hall of Fame honoring their class of 2025, if you will, right here in New York City, with a ceremony paying tribute to the pioneers, innovators, and stars of broadcast, cable, broadband, streaming, everything. And three of those pioneers are our own. Jimmy Pitaro, chairman of ESPN, who received the Hall of Fame's Chairman's Award. Michael Gelman, we love you, Gelman, executive producer of Live with Kelly and Mark, was inducted, and Sheryl Lee Ralph. She was honored last night. She'll be here, by the way, sitting right here, I think. Sheryl, I'm keeping it warm for you, but you'll be right here in just a few minutes, and we'll hear more about it.
You don't have to say everything that comes to your mind. Things you can keep to yourself. It's okay.
Okay, note to self. All right, and finally this morning, do you want to play a game? We have someone right here who can host us through it, if you will. Here's the clue. Who's the sexiest game show host? Woo! Well, Michael, you, my friend, give me a look. Give me a look. Give me a blue steel. Give me a blue steel. Oh, yeah! You are a contender. Thanks to People, they have launched the Sexiest Man Alive Reader's Choice Poll. And you're up against Jimmy Fallon, Taylor Olsen, Ryan Seacrest.
Oh, man.
And America, you are the voter. I'm just saying, America. So just go to people.com/SMA poll. I am on there right now voting as we speak.
We are all winners.
We are.
Oh, please.
But I'm jamming the ballot box. I mean, my fingers are working right down here on keyboards. But you're at the top of our pyramid.
Thank you. I appreciate it. Thank you, Sam. Thank you.
George, that's all I got in there.
There was plenty, Sam.
Coming up, Tori Johnson is here with Deals and Steals in honor of Breast Cancer Awareness Month. Up to 75% off. We'll be right back.
Oh, it's too much.
Welcome back to GMA, live from New York City.
Back to GMA with a special Deals and Steals. This morning, Tori is here with deals in honor of Breast Cancer Awareness Month. 40 years.
40 years. And all of these companies have a relationship with the cause and are really committed to supporting the cause. And we've got other forms of support in the form right here of Ana Ono. That was a good segue there for me. Segue. But they're all about the idea that all chests deserve support, no matter the stage of what you're going through. And so they make bras and loungewear that provide support for women before, during, and after breast cancer treatment. And they make a big variety of styles and sizes that you might not have known you needed or that even existed until you have that need in that moment. Their loungewear, feel how soft those pants are. They use fabrics that are soft, supportive, that also provide easier access, that are easier to put on. Everything from them today is thoughtfully created, and it's 50% off.
I love before, during, and after, because we don't talk about the after.
Exactly. Okay. Right. Exactly. Okay, so this is Cakes. They're on Shark Tank, and they went viral after women at all stages of life, from girls who were going through puberty, women who were breastfeeding, women who were having mastectomies, and they said, we feel more comfortable in our clothing wearing Cakes. And so these are Cakes, and they provide very comfortable coverage, full coverage. So sometimes you have a top on, you're wearing clothing that's not conducive to a traditional bra, or that doesn't give you the kind of coverage that you're looking for. These Cakes do the trick. They allow women to feel confident in any clothing, even, quite frankly, in swimsuit that they work with.
Wow.
So we've got a big variety of both their adhesive and non-adhesive. They call them grippy and sticky. Variety of skin tones as well, so you can pick the perfect match for you. Protect sensitive areas at 50% off.
Great deal right there.
Okay, LYS Beauty stands for Love Yourself.
I love that.
And this is a company that has long supported the pink agenda. Skincare infused makeup. Elena is a big fan. We've had the founder here. One of their best-selling products, and they're really known for their diverse shade range. This little one right here, a sculpting bronzer. Elena and I were saying this morning that sculpting and contouring can take 5 pounds off your face.
5 pounds, all right.
So we're, maybe a little exaggerating on the 5 pounds there. But sculpting and bronzing does the trick, and these little sticks make it so easy to do. All of their products, the brushes are gorgeous and they're cruelty-free. Everything's up to 75% off.
Huge.
Starts at $5. Everything's under $20 from
And
them.
look at the bling on them as well.
Gorgeous. Speaking of bling, you can manifest some positive energy with this really beautiful gemstone jewelry from Karma and Luck. So they've got pieces that really kind of celebrate happiness, prosperity, well-being, luck. They also, not only are the pieces beautiful, this is beautiful too. So look at this right here. It's two-sided. It's really just like a power of love, evil eye statue. Do you see what it says on this side? So it's got the eye on one side.
Where there is love, there is life.
Right.
Oh, I love that.
So true. Isn't that beautiful? And all of the jewelry is designed to manifest that same spirit, that love, that life. And sometimes it's just a piece of jewelry that's on your wrist or around your neck. I'm wearing a piece of jewelry. The heart is beautiful, but all of their pieces are really fabulous, and they're 50% off. These Tree of Life are beautiful too, with copper and gemstones. Phenomenal. And then finally, Corksicle, always one of our favorites.
Yes.
So we've got a big pink assortment here, but more colors that are online too. Triple insulated, keep your drinks colder or hotter longer. They look good too, and they're also cup holder friendly. Gotta say that.
Oh, I know.
Cup holder friendly, all important.
Because sometimes you have one and it doesn't fit in the cup holder.
And they're 50% off.
All right. You're always a perfect fit. Love what you're wearing right now.
Thank you.
We have partnered with these companies on these great products. You can get them at gmadeals.com. That QR code on the screen takes you there as well. Coming up. Oh, look at Sheryl Lee Ralph over there. Talking about the new season of Abbott Elementary. I know.
LYS, I love that makeup.
Oh, see there?
Yeah.
Work it, girl. You better work. Yeah.
Hit show Abbott Elementary is back for a 5th season. One of its stars, one of our favorite guests, Sheryl Lee Ralph is here. Welcome back.
Thank you.
Always.
We want to talk about season 5, but first, congratulations, Broadcasting Hall of Fame.
Thank you
night,
very
you got
much.
that humanitarian award. Tell us all about it.
Oh, it was a wonderful night last night. First of all, the induction class of 2025. Gelman is in the class. I've known Gelman for a long time. To see Drew Barrymore all grown up and happy. She was a part of the class. And then there was Melanie Griffith. But it wasn't the Melanie Griffith we all know. It was another Melanie Griffith, and she has these beautiful, two little beautiful children. Anyway, it was a wonderful, wonderful night. I enjoyed it. And we all, my family, my friends were all there together, you know, and it was a very special night.
And they honored all your humanitarian work. Thank you for that.
Thank you very much. Thank you. My foundation celebrates 35 years this year. And thank you, Diva, the Diva Foundation, and to be acknowledged as a humanitarian for that work throughout my life. I was like, wow, it meant something to somebody. So I was very happy.
You mean a lot. You mean
Thank
a lot.
you.
All right.
Thank you.
So we're going to talk Abbott. But before we do,
what?
Let's look at a clip.
Okay.
Yeah.
Where do I know that name?
I don't know.
Dominic Clark. Did you star in that new Tyler Perry movie, Medea's Destination Wedding?
No, Miss Howard, it's me, Dominic. I was in your kindergarten class.
Dominic, how could I forget? You colored everything red.
Still do. I'm just playing. I don't do that anymore. It's just an honor to be your new colleague.
My new colleague.
Hi, everyone.
Hey, how you doing? Wow, imagine that. My kindergarten student of nearly 20 years ago is my new colleague.
I love it. We love this show. We love the looks that y'all give to the camera like that. This is a big season for your character,
yes,
Barbara.
It is.
She's going through a transition.
Yes, she is. I think Barbara, there was one episode, and I said it's a new chapter of Barbara Howard. Barbara is going through a glow up. Sometimes people, especially women, they get to that point in life where they figure, oh, well, this is what it's going to be. And then they settle in, well, maybe I should stop this. Maybe I'm doing too much here. And Barbara's come to the other side. She's like, wait a minute. Yeah. My best days are ahead of me. It's time for a glow up. And I'm like, glow up, Barbara. So I'm looking forward to that.
Can learn from that.
I absolutely think so. She's leaning into her gifts. She's leaning into the better part of herself. And she has chosen, I believe, not to retire. Yeah. I hope that's where we're going. But, I never can tell with Quinta, because if I say too much, Quinta will put me on punishment.
No.
Yeah, be careful right there.
I have to be careful.
You were speaking of gifts, and speaking of that, you were nominated for a Tony back when you started the original production of Dreamgirls. It is coming back to Broadway.
Yes, it is.
So you're going to glow up?
You know something? I will definitely glow up. And I think, you know what? I might have to call up. I might have to call up Whoopi. I might have to call up you. And I might have to say the three of us need to be real dream girls and be producers.
Oh!
Yeah.
Oh, I like
that part. Thank you.
Keep it going.
Okay. Yeah.
I like how you think.
Thank you.
Oh, my gosh. So you obviously could do it. It's just if you want to do it.
Oh, my God, no. You know something? It is one of the most grueling roles. You are on stage from the moment that cowbell rings to the last finale. It's hard to say goodbye. And every night I would be like, I'm so glad I get to say goodbye. Because you'd be so tired, doggone it. And the only person that gets a break is Effie after she sings, and I'm telling you I'm not going, because after that song, you are going to rest.
You need the rest.
You need to rest. So I don't know if I'd want to do all of that, but yes, in the vein of a great Betty Davis playing the role 45 years that I played 45 years ago, yes, I could do it. But do I want to? I don't think so.
See, that's what I'm talking about. I don't even want to. I am so glad that your character Barbara is embracing her season.
Thank you.
You are embracing the season that you're in your life right now.
Absolutely.
Yes.
You know, it's like I've run such a good race, and it's like I've crossed this line, and it's like, oh my God, I'm ready for another race. I can do it. And it's been quite a race, but it's like I'm up to it, and it's like I get to see the flowers, smell the flowers, and they're given to me. It's an amazing time in my life, and I'm so grateful.
And we're grateful you brought so much energy this morning.
Thank you.
For coming
It's
in.
the morning. I'm alive. Yeah.
Season 5 of Abbott Elementary premieres tonight at 8:30 Eastern right here on ABC. Streams the next day on Who.
Oh, we are thrilled to have one of the best-known bakers in the world here with us this morning. It smells really good in the studio.
It does.
Yes, it does. Great British baking show judge Paul Hollywood has a new cookbook called Celebrate Joyful Baking All Year Round. Yes. And he's showing us how to bake two of his favorite treats. Paul, welcome back to GMA.
Thank you very much.
We're going to start off with these hot cross buns, right?
Traditionally.
But they're usually for Easter, right?
Yeah,
But you like them year-round.
Oh, absolutely. Because it's full of fruit, it's delicious, it's full of citrus, it's full of goodness, and it tastes amazing. You can have it with cheese or just toast it with butter. I want to get you involved with this, okay?
Well, let's do it, baby.
Right,
Let's do
the
it.
ingredients, this is the base dough.
Did you make yours a loaf?
Yeah, we're going to make it a loaf rather than a bun, but we're going to break it up a little bit.
Okay.
So this is a dough that's been mixed, and we're going to add the rest of the ingredients. We have raisins here, we have fresh apple.
Okay.
We have some orange, we have some lemon zest, some fresh orange as well, and cinnamon. So it's got a bit of Scandinavian feel to it as well. So we grab this dough, and we're going to throw it in, throw all those ingredients straight in. Go, Michael, go.
Go, Michael. Go, Michael, go.
Really, all of it? You can just put as much fruit as you want in there.
You can. I mean, I like it fully loaded. I don't want it so you're looking for the fruit. You want to be able to taste it all the way through.
I understand. I totally get it.
There we go. Done.
Okay, so you mix that together for about a minute, and it just incorporates all the ingredients, and then you end up with a dough very similar to this. Now, this is where I want you to sort of get your hands a little bit dirty.
Okay.
I want you to shake this.
Rise.
Oh,
right?
yeah.
Let it
It's got yeast in it, so it's going to rise.
Okay.
So if I cut that up into little pieces like that.
Okay.
Okay. All you got to do is cup it with your hand.
Okay.
And then spin it. And you end up with a ball.
Oh my goodness!
How'd you do? How'd you do?
I almost said something that does it. Okay,
you gotta cup
there
it,
we go. I gotta cup it.
They go onto the tray. So the faster you do it, the more
a lot of jokes in this one here, Paul. I'm gonna leave them alone now.
Right there, yeah.
There
we go.
It's good. It's good. It's got a nice bit of
I didn't cup it. Okay.
You did good.
I mean,
Thank you.
That one's terrible, but that one's pretty good. that one's with a handshake.
You know, thank you. Thank you. I appreciate that.
So what you do is you end up proving these. So this is where the dough rises. And the whole point of it is it looks quite, gnarly. It looks delicious. And that's the whole point of it. And this is where you have a
because really
bag.
they're just hot buns.
They are hot buns.
Without a cross on it.
So what am I doing with this?
Very Scandinavian in its approach.
Right.
But what we do now is what we do in the UK is we put a little cross on the top. This is the Easter side of it.
Okay, and is that like decorative icing?
It's basically plain dough. It's
plain
flour,
dough.
Flour and water.
All right.
Okay? So you pipe by lifting it over the top and dropping it down, and then over the top, and then dropping it onto the table.
Michael, see?
Very good.
Yes.
Very good.
I can see this happening at home.
This is very neat. I like that. That's it.
Paul,
just make sure
Paul,
you
you
drop
just
it.
gave Michael a handshake, and
Yeah.
season 4, I think it's season 4, just started in the U.S., right?
Yes.
The handshake's a big deal. Like, you don't give it out very often, but I noticed that you just
Called the
gave it to
Hollywood
Michael.
handshake, baby.
You just gave it to Michael like so easy. I mean, I brought you donuts. We've been friends for at least 2 segments.
You are right.
I haven't gotten a handshake.
But.
Oh! There's a but here.
There's a but, right.
Yeah.
The cross is good. I want you to have a little go as well.
No!
Come on.
I want to see a great
You gotta earn
cross.
that handshake.
Come on.
There we go.
Nice.
Wait, now what do you do at the end?
Just drop it off.
Okay, that made a
snap it
mess
off, and
right
then-
there.
Now I gotta say that first one was
Yeah, no,
awful.
I think
that's
Michael's-
awful.
all right.
No, it's not bad.
But these smell good. They look good. But you also bought us something. What is? Oh, come on. We gotta do that first.
Now
What do you got?
this is the baked product. So once you've proved and baked them, you glaze them with an orange syrup or a marmalade or an apricot jam, and then the whole thing together is just delicious. But you can have it with cheese. You just have it with butter.
Butter's all right?
Toasted is amazing.
Toasted is amazing, and I know something we're going to talk about when you're in commercial break. I'm not letting you get away without giving us the donuts that you brought. Okay, but you know what? You can get these recipes on GoodMorningAmerica.com, and you can get Paul Hollywood's new cookbook, Celebrate. It is out right now. How can you not buy that with that man's
this
face
is
on
really
the cover?
delicious. Hey, what's up? What are we doing? The donut? Oh,
Donuts. Where's the donuts?
Is that?
We gotta go.
Okay.
We don't have time
gotta
for donuts. We gotta chew.
Everybody's telling us
We'll be right back.
Bye.
Oh, they're delicious.
We are back with GMA Money Moves and kicking off National Financial Planning Month. Taking control of your economic future can be overwhelming and emotional. This segment is sponsored by Certified Financial Planner Professionals, CFP Board Chair, and a CFP professional herself. Liz Miller is right here to help guide us. Liz, I'm so excited to talk about this because everybody gets emotional about money, and there's a lot to be had. So my dad is one person who's always like, I wish you wouldn't pay someone to help you with financial planning, but you say having an expert is critical.
It is. We are so overwhelmed today with financial information online, and a lot of it's not good or misleading. We hear people coming in anxious, frustrated, and sometimes having lost money. So having a holistic financial plan and working with a certified financial planner is really essential.
So don't listen to a TikTok expert, I guess.
No.
Let's talk about some of the milestones in life. Parenthood. What do we do financial planning-wise?
It's so important to start teaching about money. I started teaching my daughters at 3 that money buys things. And that's young enough, too, to understand that mom and dad go to work and make money, and that's how you do that. At around 5 to 6, you could start talking about wants and needs. Do you really need that next toy? And with preteens, we really want to introduce the idea of what are your money habits? What are you going to spend? What are you going to save? And maybe even what are you going to give away? And if your teenager has their first job, you have absolutely talked to them about the idea of taxes.
Yes, absolutely. And then jump ahead then to buying a home.
most important thing you're going to do in life, and so stressful. And this is when having a holistic financial plan that has your goals, your debts are so important. And then you realize you don't have to tackle everything at once. For example, maybe you just start with paying down debt and then go on to the next steps. And then it's easy to get all your documentation together when you find that perfect home.
And this one's hard to imagine for a lot of people that are young, but retirement planning.
There are so many people today who keep putting off retirement planning, but the first thing to know is you are not alone. There are over 106,000 certified financial professionals in the United States. That's like 1 in 3 advisors to start helping you wherever you are today. Feel more confident today, and then know you have a secure future.
So there are thousands of them, but how do we know we got the right one? How do we protect ourselves, and what are some red flags to look for?
Absolutely. With online advice, it's so easy to be misled. We forget that popularity isn't credibility, right? And some of the red flags are things like advice that's the same for everybody. You're different than your neighbor. You're different than your father, apparently, right? So you need different advice. And if it's a get-rich-quick scheme, we know that's a huge red flag. Yeah. When you work with a certified financial planner, you've got someone who is working in your best interest by your side every step.
Thank you so much, Liz. That was really helpful. And you can go ahead and point your camera right at your phone at the code and learn more information from CFP professionals on our website.
Liz said popularity is not credibility.
So true.
Got to keep that in mind.